Hello, everybody. I'm Scott Frazier, and welcome to another edition of What's in Our Water. On today's episode, I wanted to go through a couple things here. Uh, as you know, I'm a person that works in the water business. Grew up in a small town, Ozark, Missouri, and which is subject today of our podcast here on What's in Our Water. And today, I just get right down into it. I was able with Google Earth, and there's some really cool features of Google Earth if you're not aware about it. And one of those is if you'll go into Google Earth and you Control H, you'll get this function. You get a timeline, a historical timeline of our satellite imagery. It goes back all the way to 1985 when I was a junior in high school here at Ozark, Missouri. And that's about as far as we could get on the imagery. For a detailed look. If you speed that up, let's come up to 2003. We're starting to get a little bit better, closer images. And I'm bringing your attention here to a site in Ozark that's owned by the City of Ozark that is the subject of today's episode. If you're from Ozark and you rode your bicycle around town, you'd know about the top of the hill. Because you start down here at the bottom of the hill in Ozark and ride all the way up here McCracken Road. Sure you all know about that, McCracken Road, but beautiful area here. And this land right here is Hartley Street. This is Highway JJ, and this is US 14 coming out of Ozark heading towards Sparta. And you can see this nice piece of land here that contains a pond in the middle of it. Next to it is a farm. By 2004, still looking pretty decent. Got a little pond out here in the middle. By 2005, the pictures are getting better with the satellite. Zoom in a little closer, you can see this pond. Not much has changed here. They're developing Ozark United Methodist Church over here. But by 2007, it's looking like this. And I want you to watch what happens in the year 2008 here in the city of Ozark. They either already owned or acquired this parcel, but in 2008, they got out here and they built this, which looks like a pond or a lagoon. It's an excavated site. Big hole in the ground. Got an area up here intended for some stuff, something over here. This looks like water. But point of trying to bring is that they are excavating and building this site. This ends up being, you can see the berm. This is an impoundment or a pond, I'm not sure. By 2010, they're putting stuff out here, and looks like they're hauling sludge in here. And on some of the permits, this site is listed as a land application site. It's a little unclear on the amounts that they're applying, the times, and the nitrogen and phosphorus loading, but they have been using this site for land application. This is 2013. You speed up to 2019. This is how it looks by 2020, 2021. At some point, this resident has some cattle die, and he files a complaint to Missouri DNR about it. He says that he's concerned about, and this is in writing, you can pull this up yourself as public information, or I had to obtain the public information from DNR. But he has some cattle die. There's also another resident nearby. He's complaining, saying there's stuff on the road. He's having health problems. But this gentleman says he's afraid about the water leaching out off of this property onto his, and it's affected his livestock. And so you can kind of see, this isn't, I'm no floodplain expert, but you can see where the water is draining through here. And at one time, this was a pond. Now, has this been lined? And is this a permitted solid waste facility? This has got a lot of sludge put out there, apparently. And you can see where they're driving in and out. They had a DNR inspector come out, Russell Reel. He's no longer with the agency, but he works as an environmental engineer for a company over in Nixa. I'd like to talk to him because he came out a couple times, and I'm not sure if he looked at the satellite imagery I am looking at. And what I need to know is this a permitted solid waste facility? Because it looks like it's probably not. Now, by 2024, this is what it's looking like. The city is still using it to put solid waste up in here. And at various times, at least on the 2022 period, this is listed as a site for land application, as is this other site up the road, the Howard site, which I want to take you through this one in a similar way. Okay, here you can see it. I'm not sure if this is the area where they're land applying. And we'll go into land application versus subsoil injection and solids versus liquid application. The pond here has just got a tremendous amount of algae on it. But let's look at it in 2013. I mean, it looked pretty good. 2015, still looking pretty good. I'm thinking they're probably getting some good hay out of these fields. By 2019, it's like they're possibly starting to put some stuff out here. I just can't be sure, and I don't want to speculate. But this is listed, the Molly Howard property, on the permit in 23. By 2024, it's looking like it's being used. That's what I'll say about it. Now, what's interesting about these sites is that if you do land apply here and there would be runoff, it's going to run right back down here into the Finley River. There's a lot of sinkholes and karst topography in these areas. So what I've asked from the city is just sample results and agronomy rates, pH of the soil, and here's why. We're starting to see in our wells in Ozark PFAS. That's a man-made chemical, a forever chemical, or we've heard that in the news probably a lot lately. And the wastewater plant down here generates these concentrated solids in the process. I believe this is the centrifuge room they're using now. And so they've actually increased their rate. I want you to notice there's been very little from 2024 back to, say, 2009. Let me try to get a bigger picture. Here's 2010. 2010 to 2025. 2025, 2010. Now, there hasn't been a lot of changes mechanically in the plant, but one thing you'll notice is over in this area right here in 2010, that's a former storage area for something, but by 2025, it's turned into some pits where they're actually taking the sludge and putting it over here. That's probably why this guy here is complaining about the odor, because right over his fence, he's got this open area, which again, this site here is also being used for land application. So they're taking it in this field. This is the blue field. And taking it in. All right, so this is 2025. So between this pond, this area here, and the Smallwood complaint, these are anecdotal, right? They're not. I'm not accusing anybody. I'm just asking some questions here. But this is the Finley River. Now, all along this area here is the Finley River development area. Some really important and nice people in Ozark have acquired these spots. And I'm not going to mention who they are. They're longtime folks in Ozark. I know these people, and I know their hearts are in the right spot. A lot of them on the school board, board of aldermen. They're not responsible for this. They're like me and you. They're just people who, wake up one day and you notice something in the water, And so the question becomes, what is it? How did it get there? And what can we do to mitigate it? Right? Isn't that what we should all be talking about here? Having an open dialogue about what we can do to help ourselves. And there are, fortunately, some good ways to deal with this. But I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not sure that this is one of them. And I just want to know more about it. So if you're like me and you're just a curious citizen journalist, you want to get some answers and you enjoyed this podcast, please drop me a line and stay with me on this journey. And we'll see what we can do to fix this problem together. Thanks for watching and listening.